I'm not frozen, just tired. You don't say. Welcome, Grand Rising, everybody. I feel like an actual streamer now. I got prepared. I got my lighting. More lighting. Grand Rising, everybody. Oh, Grand Rising for me. It is 9:01 a.m. in Maui, Hawaii. And we are live, my friends. We are live. I figured I'd do a couple things this live a little bit different. Jenny, right on time, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Excited to have you here as always. I started right at 9. Like, understand, this live thing is going to be a big challenge for me. I am not, as you can imagine, that's my chart. I think, yeah, that's my chart. Reflector. Doing things consistently for me has always been a challenge. Unless I'm like totally obsessed with it, which I'm kind of obsessed with this whole live thing. Doing things consistently for me has always been a challenge. Even though I have gate 5 there, you guys might not be able to see it, but with and when I learned about my human design, and I was like, oh, so there's like nothing consistent about me. Is that why I have a hard time being consistent with things? And I think what I'm learning more now is like, it's like everyone has energy for the things that they want to do. And for me, sometimes it's hard to like pick a thing that I really want to do because there's a lot of things that I want to do. This live streaming thing, though, is something that I know it's already challenging for me, but I feel the purpose of it. Like just in this past week of doing live and 2 weeks of doing live, I've had at least 3 or 4 people reach out to me and be like, hey, I want you to know I found your live, and I was like looking for something so intensely, and I was like really losing hope, but then I found your live, and now I'm into human design, and now life is exciting again. So I'm just really happy. I'm like, yes, this is what I'm excited to do, and I'm excited to be. So welcome back to the live. This is our second week of going live, third day of going live out of the week. We're doing this Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And this is just like floor human design and Reiki and really anything. Like I'll talk about aliens. I'll talk about all kinds of stuff on here. And because I really just want to like bring this information. Primarily it's help anyone out there who's like, how do I ask a question about this? A lot of the basics that you will ask in terms of like, what is my strategy? What am I supposed to go to another interaction? You want to remain open. And when you don't wash your hands, and by wash your hands, I mean like one of my favorite breathing exercises is like a parabolic breathing exercise. So normally when we breathe, the belly goes out, and we exhale, the belly goes in, belly goes out on the inhale, and on the exhale, the belly goes in. Parabolic breathing is the opposite. So you breathe in and you suck your belly in, and you breathe out and you push your belly out. And so I would recommend doing that as a reflector. And anyone can do this that wants to kind of like freshen up or clean their energy. If you do that in between interactions, even just like you got to do at least 3 really to like, super feel it. But it'll ground you more in your body. And again, it can make you a little bit more hygienic is a great word. Exactly. Because even if you're moving through people's stuff and it's like you're not really enjoying it, one of the things that you got to ask yourself is like, well, why am I choosing to open up to this person, or in what ways am I open to this person? So yeah, with undefined centers, the thing that society wants us to do is to define these centers. They want things to be fixed, but we want to keep it natural. So Lizzie, where does human design originate from? So human design is actually, it's a synthesis of the I Ching, the Kabbalah, the chakra system, and astrology. And it came to us back in, I want to say 87. And it was just like this guy in the woods in Ibiza that just like the way he explains it is kind of crazy though, because people talk about like channeled systems all the time. And the way this guy talks about it, he's like, I was basically possessed by a voice and it was telling me how to do things and what to do. And I just did it. And it's like, oh, that's very interesting. And it told him about how to create these charts. And then it also told him that there was a particle that science hadn't discovered yet, but that it has a mass. It's very small, but it has the ability to imprint on us. A couple years later, they found the neutrino. And then he also told Ra that there's something called a magnetic monopole, which science also later discovered almost like 10 years later. And it's this G center right here. It's like the core nucleus of us. It's a monopole. It's a pole with a singular polarity, and it's what keeps essentially our systems kind of like what's like the nucleus, if you will. And so human design is a new system, but it's based in very, very old information and old wisdom. And ultimately it's like a how you say, a remix of very old songs that told us truths about nature and patterns and life, right? And so looking at human design for the first time, really what you're gonna do is be overwhelmed at first, because there's so much. Like, each one of these is a body graph. And if you don't have your body graph, just visit reikimarco.com, generate yourself a body graph. That's totally free. And then back here on my TikTok, I have a bunch of videos about all kinds of stuff. They're organized to the best of my ability in playlists. And if you want to learn about it and you want a book, I recommend this book. This is like the 101 book. Kennedy, thank you for sharing the live. Good to have you back. Human Design, the Science of Differentiation. However, I would also recommend that in addition to getting the book, or maybe in lieu of getting the book, this app that these screenshots are from is called Neutrino Design. And it's one that I've partnered with in development, in evolution of it. And we're making the best human design available. And people in the chat, or whoever's using it in the chat, will definitely agree. This is not only the most advanced app, in my opinion, about human design out there, period. It's also, if you go through me, you get 25% off access, $26 for the entire year. Some people are charging $50 for a month, which is nuts. So the app is called Neutrino Design. And like I said, if you go through my website, you can get 25% off. And then take a screenshot of this. This is the book. I'm going to probably link this in my bio pretty soon. Maybe hopefully get some affiliate points with these guys. The book, I think the book itself is kind of expensive. It's like 40, $50, but it's great because it has all of the basic information. Now, the app will have information that the book does not have. It has advanced information. And then also, with the benefit of the app, you're actually able to get like information about you, like all in the same place. And alternatively as well, I have reports that I sell that one of them, the $20 one, will like decode your body graph for you. The Reiki report will decode your body graph, and it will give you kind of like my, human design for dummies, but human design for smarties, and as well, like the techniques that I personally use in my life to embody human design. So that's kind of like, again, paths of exploration, and everything is super affordable. Like, the app is $26, the report is $20, the Reiki report is $35. The only thing that's expensive are sessions with me, because I only have so much time. But that's also why I do this, because if you have questions, what I find is like, and my philosophy a lot of the times is like, the difference between you and where you want to go is whatever distance. But the journey between you and wherever you want to go, like, every single person, this is my belief, no matter where you're at, if you're traumatized, if you're addicted, if you're in a toxic relationship, if you're, no matter where you're at, you're only a few degrees and a year and a half away from like your absolute dream life. This is my belief. And I believe that we can get you there using human design as a map and using your body as a compass, right? So if you don't have your body graph generated, again, my main recommendation for anyone interested in human design, the best thing possible is for you to get the app. Download Neutrino Design. Again, get 25% off. Do it through my website. It's the full app because you can learn about all of these gates. Now, if you want, again, more streamlined information and you don't want to, like you just want it all right laid out in front of you, second best option is to get one of my reports. And then third best option is to buy the book. Fourth best option would be to generate a body graph for free on my website. And then just like, scour my TikTok. And I'm not the only creator of about human design. Naturally, there's a bunch of creators, but be really mindful with some of the creators that you find out here because some of them are not, and I'm not going to name, just like be discerning because some of these people have not been experimenting with human design for very long, and you can tell. The things that you can tell is that number one, I personally believe that if you start to study human design, you will physically become stronger. And this is the way that I believe it because human design, this system in its origin is really about dropping into the body and being able to surrender to the body. Incarnation cross of the vessel of love. Okay, so vessel of love, this is all about, naturally, it's about love. My interpretation of the incarnation crosses are going to be a little bit different than the original interpretations. But when it comes to incarnation crosses, what you're looking at is like a destination. So by the end of your life, you will have incarnated and everything in your life will have fulfilled this concept of being the vessel of love, which is really about, again, it's so funny because human design is just like a circle. Everything circles back onto use your strategy and authority. Use what is given to you, use your body, surrender to your form so that you can become the vessel of love. And essentially the vessel of love is really just about being, a channel for love, being full of compassion, being able to, you know, bring love into situations, to expand the types of containers that we use to experience love. And anyway, there's something I don't understand. I'm a 1-3, but it says that in 2003 I will be a 3-5. So your body graph will never change. What it might be talking about is in like when you have your Saturn returns and things like that. I'm not sure where are you getting that information about it. So yeah, okay. So with Saturn return, it's not that you're a 3-5. I don't know why your profile shouldn't change. But basically, when you start your that cycle, you're going to how you say be of a, like, you're going to get overlays on top of this. So this is one thing about human design that is really cool, is you can actually look at the different cycles that you're going to hit and what circuitry you'll have during that cycle. Come on, people, tap. Yeah, tap, tap, tap. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Jenny, for reminding me. So this number right here, right now, it's at 3.8 thousand. By the end of this live, if we could get it to 30,000, and we'll be on for at least another hour and 15 minutes before my next session. Yeah, let's try and beat this goal. Let me get some water real quick over here. But let's try and beat this goal, guys. Like, I've been feeling into it, and it's been fun to talk about. But it's like, imagine if there's people with millions of likes up here, and they're the ones that TikTok is showing to everybody. And we can put human design up there. We have to do it together, though. So I'll show up and do my part. And if you guys are enjoying this, or you're getting some kind of value, it doesn't cost you anything. Tap the screen, share this with some of your friends, and make sure you're following as well. So our generator's keen to socializing. It depends. It's like, as a generator, the one thing you want to ask yourself honestly is, right, is this satisfying for me? Is this giving me energy, or is this taking energy away from me? If I'm wanting to give my energy to something, you know, like a social situation or an event, like, yes, you'll be keen to it. If your gut is like, not those people, not that group, whatever, that's fine too. Listen to your gut. That's the whole point of being a generator. 3-6 forever and trial and error. Trust me, man. I'm with you. Even though I'm 3-5, I definitely a lot of it. Do you have any basic info on splenic projectors? Cool. So anything splenic, like, you really want to pay close attention to your health, right? Refine your intuition. Pay attention to like ringing in your right ear, because intuition is uncomfortable. Intuition is like you're walking down the street and then all of a sudden you get this weird feeling like you shouldn't go down the road that you normally go down. That's your intuition. It's the tingle up your butthole, right? When you get too close to an edge. Um, and Yeah, this one of the things where like sprinting is really good for you. Walking, running, punching, throwing kicks, throwing sticks, throwing stones. All of that is really helpful because the spleen cares about your survival. And the more capable you are physically, the more healthy you are physically, the more in tune your spleen will be able to guide you. Um, so I want to learn way more about my vehicle. Yeah. Yeah, this is how we do it. 3-5, 2 mg. I feel like I can't relate to a projector. So this is very interesting because, a lot of like personality tests and new age things, they put a lot of value in, oh, I really resonate with that. Like, you see your type and you're like, oh yeah, I really resonate with that. Um, the problem with that is who you think you are is not always who you actually are. So this is not about resonance. This is about experimenting with, first, primarily the strategy and the authority of your type and your body graph. Experiment with that for 28 days. This is what I say. After that 28 days, if you're not more aware of who you actually are and how little like, oh, I resonate with this actually matters, because all of us are conditioned, right? We saw mom and dad do something, we saw our last partner do something, we saw one of our friends or our bosses do something, and we copied that, we emulated that, right? Now that becomes a conditioning over time, and the conditioning is not who we actually are. there's a deeper um, there's a deeper set of structure that allows us to be ourselves that human design ultimately will reveal, but ultimately you will have to test it. Like, the reason I do human design is because when I saw this, I said, no freaking way, let me try and break it. So I started making my decisions in 28-day cycles. I started treating my emotions a little bit with more lack of definition. I started living more according to my design, and my life just got better. And there's no real other way to explain it. Like, I tested this, I tried to break it. I'm a third line. I tried to break it, and I have yet to break it. Like, it just helps me even more. So with the social conditioning and parental conditioning, etc., you're looking at using human design to become more aware of this. Like, why do you want to resonate with this thing over that thing? Right. And that could be the thing where it's like, oh, I don't resonate with my chart. I don't resonate with my design or my strategy. And it's like, that's kind of normal because there's conditioning. So the experiment for you to run, if you're interested in running it, is, hey, live your life according to this chart and see if you can't see some things. And they're going to be harsh lessons as well. Like, I find projectors a lot of the time are have connections with people that they don't really care about them. As in, like, the connections you have don't really care about you as a projector, and or they don't know how to care for you as a projector. So it's just one of those things, that a lot of the times people will wake up and they'll have this realization of like, oh my God, I've been living my life totally opposite to my design. And somewhere deep down I knew that, but now I have some kind of, again, confirmation to at least run an experiment. Yeah. So after sitting with mine for a while, quick fire intuition helped me know better. I'm driving, but I'm tapping. And Jenny, you're a rock star. I love you. I'm at a stop now. Let's go. People tap. So guys, this, again, this is part of the mission, is like, the more we can get this number up, which great, we're already at 9K. You guys are awesome. The more people we're going to be able to introduce to human design. And, my hope is that for me, like why I do this is because when I was like 18, 19, 20 years old, kind of going through my spiritual awakening, I was looking for human design, but I couldn't find it. And it eventually found me, but I was looking for, you know, a 20, 30, 30, 40, I would have paid $100 for a report that would just tell me, hey, live life like this for a little bit and see if it works, right? Just live life like this for a little bit and see if it works. And like I said, when it did find me, I did the experiment. And since then, I'm like 8, 9 years into my experiment, and we already made it to 10K. This is awesome, guys. So again, it's really all about like doing our absolute best to like make sure this information gets to as many people as possible, because we don't need to it doesn't help us if other people believe that human design works. The more people that believe human design works, it doesn't necessarily make it work better for us or me. What it does do is it helps and more acceptance of people in their own individual journey. And it also spreads language for talking about things that are metaphysical, things that so how does this work? Essentially, you generate yourself a body graph. Like, let's say you're like one that like is always like initiating your friend group. You stop initiating your friend group to do things, and you wait to see who invites you to what. As a splenic invitation, you start focusing on your health. You start focusing on going running in the mornings. You start going on, etc. Doing all like taking care of your health and your spleen, because your spleen is the center of like health, wellness, and survival things for 28 days. And just doing that, what's going to happen is you're going to start to see areas where you see all these white centers right here. These are called undefined centers, and a lot of people's stuff can get stuck in these centers. For instance, this center right here is the sacral. That's a defined sacral, the red one, and that's an undefined sacral right there. With the undefined sacral, these people very often end up like people pleaser. They end up, in partnerships where, it's all about what the partner wants to do. And they have their preference, but they also don't really have that strong of a preference, right? So my website is reikimarco.com. And yeah, again, that's how you, and then of course you just get sucked into this rabbit hole, because once you start to see how much conditioning is in you and how much using your strategy will just create like this ease of life, again, ultimately what you're doing is you're attempting to harmonize with your natural and unique circuitry, the natural energy that moves through you. It moves through all of us in a very unique way, and it's filtered in a very unique way. Jenny just ordered a hamburger, and we're almost at 13K. We're there now, baby. Let's go. So yeah, so how to use my emotional authority as a projector. So with the emotional authority, it's very important that you understand, and this is the emotional center right here. So this is a defined emotional center. Solar plexus is also another name for it. If you have this, you have emotional authority. If you have this, an undefined solar plexus, you have an underside or you have what's it called, an undefined emotional authority. You have some other kind of authority. Write your web page on paper so we can see it. Oh, I could just type it out, can't I? Let me do that. ReikiMarco.com. Oh wait. Oh no, it got eaten. Pin the comment. Pin the comment. How do I pin it? Pin the comment. There's my oh, it said it couldn't pin it. Why not? Pin the comment. Couldn't pin the comment. Okay. I can't pin the comment. It's in my bio though. It's like my name, Reiki Marco. I guess I have human design BFF, but it's Reiki, ReikiMarco.com. I don't have anything. I mean, I could write it. Actually, it's right here on the UPS page. It might appear backwards though. This reminds me of like signs back in the day, but Which I think is it mirrored? It's mirrored, isn't it? That's hilarious. Oh, there we go. Mirroring is off. Bingo. ReikiMarco.com. Also, there's a lot of fakes of me out there. I'll never reach out to you and be like, hey, let me give you a reading, blah, 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 blah. Um, every once in a while, I'll be like, hey, reach out to me and I'll give you a session like here on live, which is obviously this is me. But I'm never going to reach out to you and try and solicit my services. So anyway, emotional authority. All human beings have emotions. Um, Excuse me, let me chew real quick. All human beings have emotions. All human beings will ride emotional waves. If you have a defined solar plexus, that's why I mirror the video. It's kind of hard to. So if you have defined solar plexus, your emotional waves are typically going to be, like you don't need anyone around to be emotional about things. Your waves will typically be more consistent. Your way of processing those emotional waves will also be more consistent. The type of themes and things that you get emotional about, again, they'll be more consistent. If you have the undefined solar plexus, you're looking at the opposite of that. Your emotions are less consistent. Typically, you're less emotional in general, but you also are more at risk of taking on the emotional energy of other people, right? So again, no one is better than the other. It's really about how you respond to the emotional way. So here's four simple steps. First thing is track the emotion. I'm in an emotional wave. I'm biting my nails, I'm tapping my foot, etc. Second thing is go somewhere safe. You don't want to be around people that are going to ask you like, "Oh, how are you feeling? What can we do to make it better?" Ideally, you either want to be alone or with someone who knows how to shut up and just like hold you in step number 3, which is like move the water out of your body, right? Move the water out of your body. Cry, sweat. Don't try and make yourself feel better. One of the worst things in the world with emotions is the like premature soothing, right? Like because emotions, it's conflict. It's a churn. It's churning. It's alchemizing. You don't want to when you have the water boiling to do an extraction in an experiment. You don't say, "Oh, this extraction is crazy. Let me turn it down." No, you let the extraction happen because you turn it down later. You get to the end of your emotional wave. You ride the emotional wave out. So if you're sad, cry as many tears as you possibly can. If you're angry, spit, scream, say the things that you need to say. Like if you're mad at your partner, say the things you need to say, just not to their face. That's remember step 2 is don't say it to their face. Get somewhere safe, which again usually is alone. Say the things that you need to say so that they don't get stuck in your throat and you end up you end up saying it to them to their face, right? Anyway, exhaust the emotional wave. Then the last step, super important, relax. Like shavasana, lay on your back for at least 10 minutes and just let all the energy settle down. After that, great time to journal. Hey, I felt this, I felt that, I said this, I said that, and focus like on what, not why. Don't go. There's so much stigma to emotional blow up or tantrums. I feel silly afterwards, need acceptance. Exactly. And this is exactly